I did want to ask you about your service staff. Have you how is that looking staffing wise for you guys? Are you finding that you can do more with less personnel back there, or are you kind of like a lot of dealers where you guys are like, man, we need service people and we need them yesterday? Any tips or tricks on your service situation?
Well, I think at first we found that you could do more with less people. I think we found that throughout the entire dealership. Um, as time has gone on and volume has increased back a little bit, you need the people to take care of the business. As far as our service goes, we didn't lose any techs or lube guys that were significant. But we've struggled in the last couple of years getting a solid service drive full of good advisors that have been around and have been with us for a while. Currently, right now, we've probably got the strongest group that we've had in the last year and a half. So it's kind of nice to see that starting to come together. But
Congrats.
it's a lot of work. It's you need everything you can get out of there, and when you got people that are new and don't know exactly how to do it, it hurts when you're not capitalizing on the traffic coming through.
How important is that? Goes back to like the age old question: how important is employee retention?
Oh God, I'd much rather keep a group of employees than have to go through new ones and shuffle through employees. Like I mentioned, our sales staff is the same sales staff we had at the beginning of the pandemic, so that's been pretty easy. Office staff, same staff. Our biggest turnover has been advisors, frankly.
What do you feel? What do you feel like caused? And this is a pretty personal question, so share whatever you're comfortable sharing. But what do you feel like were some of the obstacles that create that turnover in the service drive? Because you're not alone in that. I hear about that from a lot of dealers. My company, Car Motivators, we're working with an OEM right now, and we're doing a customer experience program for the service drive. And what we're finding is that it all is going back to the employee experience, because if they don't want to work there, and that, like you were saying earlier, if you've got a lot of turn there, then ultimately it really impacts the customer experience. One customer even told me, I was doing an analysis of a service drive, and this customer hadn't been in 2 years, and I asked her, I was like, where have you been going? And she's like, oh, I've been going to the Jiffy Lube by my house or whatever. And I was like, oh, how come you stopped coming here? And she's like, oh, because every time I would come in here there was a new advisor. uh, so what do you feel like, what are some of the challenges that cause the turnover in the service drive?
Well, I mean, in my opinion, the toughest job in the store is the service advisor. They're grabbing 12 to 20 people a day. It's like going to the dentist who wants to go spend money at a car dealership on something that you don't really see when it's all said and done. Um, and it's not an easy job. So we've over these last couple of years, we've had success in giving people an opportunity that you might not have ever thought would be that person. One of our advisors, and she's doing a great job, she started as a receptionist for us. And she was a receptionist when COVID first came in. And then when we didn't need the reception help as much, she kind of made her way into the service department and is now one of our better advisors. So it's building from within is probably the best way of doing it, and they appreciate it. And I think we have people that enjoy working here. We have a pretty fun environment. But the challenge is, you need 5 to 6 of them, and you got 3 that are solid or 2 that are solid, and then you have a revolving door on a couple. And I just think that there were challenges. There was COVID issues that we lost people for early in the process. I got a guy who does a great job, but he wants to go get an education on something else and is doing school and that type of stuff. So we've had a bunch of different reasons why we haven't been able to keep a solid crew in there. Um, I wish I knew the answer to control it and keep the same 5, 6 people in there for years, because I think, as you mentioned, it's a customer experience ultimately. When you meet them 2 or 3 times and you tell them everything's okay with their car, fourth time when you tell them, hey, you need to take care of this, this, and that, they're gonna believe you.
Hmm. Yeah. And I love what you said about moving people up. I think that is by far one of the best strategies for employee retention in those types of roles. Because, like, case in point, you took the receptionist, put her back there. She's one of the better advisors now. I've got a store so they have a service and a sales BDC. So every single salesperson started out as a sales BDC rep, and they learned the value of how to handle the phones and internet and CRM. Then when they make them a salesperson, their productivity is just, compared to people that start off on the floor, it's significantly higher forever. It's pretty impactful. And the same on the advisor side, it's almost like they, by hearing all the complaints as a service BDR and the scheduling challenges, and they really learn and use that as an advisor. I think that's a really wise decision there. And if I could give you anything that I would want you to take away that might help you retain your employees, it's literally your service managers learning to basically assess their employees' satisfaction on a consistent basis. Because there's like 10 motivators, right? And am I valued? Am I more than a number? As one. Am I doing this for more than a paycheck? Is two. A third is, am I mastering the right skills? Just to name, four, is work fun? I could go through the whole list, but when the manager learns about the individual's needs and what makes them excited to come to work every day, then they can use that to motivate and get them excited. It's always a sad day when you coach someone up and out of the department, because I know what you're talking about, the one going to school.